Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Brown, and I work for the UTLC in the Learning Innovations and Pedagogy Department, but I also teach. I teach in the CST department and then for the RCOs. I teach the oral competency classes. There's been a lot of talk right now about some of the problems that we're facing on our campus, such as trying to improve student persistence and the budget, but there's not enough talk now about what is actually working on our campus. And the reality is there's a lot of great things happening now in our classrooms, whether it's in the physical classrooms or the online classrooms. So I created this series called What's Working for us to celebrate and talk about what are those things that are actually working in our classrooms. I want to give faculty an avenue to share those great things that are happening, to share them with other faculty. So these are just going to be very brief video moments, 5 minutes or less, that people can listen to and get some ideas about what is actually working in our classrooms. So to get us started, I'll share mine. So in the spring of 2022, I was teaching a class, and I would say I was probably encountered my worst semester ever. I've been teaching now for about 27 years, and that was probably my worst semester ever. It was a time of Omicron and COVID, and students who are constantly present in Zoom versus the classroom. And then those students would get well, and then other students would become sick and have to go to the Zoom. And for a public speaking class, it's really tough because it's hard to connect with those students when you're nervous about speaking who are via Zoom. So I would say about mid-semester, midway in the semester, I finally had all the students in the room, and it felt strange because we weren't all present at the same time. And at the end of the semester, I talked to my students and said, "How did it go? How do you feel?" And many of them said, "I just didn't get connected to many of my classmates because we weren't all there. Just when they finally came in, when I finally saw them in person, it just felt strange." They didn't have that sense of community that they expected for a class like that. That sat with me for a long time. That kind of sat on my heart a bit, and I decided to approach things differently this fall. So fall 2022, I decided I'm going to be much more intentional about creating my community in my classroom. So for the first day, I know many of us like to go over the course syllabus, but I decided to mix it up. So the first moments of the class, I introduced myself and I talked about the purpose of the class. And then the rest of the class, I said, I want you to get to know your classmates. And we spent the entire time getting to know each other. I have a class of 25, sometimes I have classes of 15, so it's easy for my students to get up and move around and talk to each other. If I had a larger class, like 100, I could still do that. I would just have to not everyone, but everyone sitting around them. So I had them just talk to each other and learn about each other. And what was interesting is, as students come in, they kind of establish their place, their seating, and they automatically started moving around, like changing where they were going to sit because they found a connection with someone really quickly that first day and said, "Now I'm going to sit here by my buddy." When they left that first day, they were like, "This feels very different than a first day at a college class." And I was like, "Yes, that's what I was going for." And the semester as a whole went so much better. They got so connected to each other. If their buddy was out, they were asking and sending each other emails. It was lovely to see. And at the end of the semester, my students told me that start of the semester just felt so different, felt so lovely because they were connected to each other so quickly. So that's how I did it. That's something different that I did that worked for me to connect my students. And I just want to share that with you. I'm looking forward to hearing from many of you to share what's working in your classrooms.